All right, Brandon, we have a unique adventure tonight, and you're gonna need a little bit of luck tonight, so go ahead, roll your D4 to determine which luck token you will use tonight in our little solo adventure.
All right, that is a 4.
All right, so which character are you using tonight?
I am playing Elarius, the Elven Archer of the Vulpes Argentum.
Elarius will get the token of hope, hopeful for the future. If you're curious about what our luck tokens will do, go ahead and look at our luck token video to know what our luck tokens do narratively, but you'll be drawing upon Elarius's hope for the future to reroll any die tonight. Tell us more about your faction, Vulpes Argentum.
The Vulpes Argentum were formed out of the disbanded legions back in the known world, the mainland. They are all veterans. It is a mercenary company, and they're looking to find their place in the world now that they're no longer actively participating in the wars back home.
So if you can imagine, in Arventa, this outpost that has been established in the blasted lands, picture this: black sands, ruined walls, and these giant entryways into blown out, blasted areas within Arventa. These giant, seems to be cyclopean founders, leaders, creators of this place. And as the various factions build by the waters and build in some of these houses and clean out the dirt and the earth itself in order to eke out a living here in the basalt deserts of this land, what would the Vulpes Argentum be doing here? What is their home base within Arventa? Where would they find themselves?
They are scattered about the settlement. So the Vulpes are used to being in the field, used to roughing it. You know, this is more comfortable for a lot of them than the trappings of civilization.
Interesting.
So, wherever there is a, ruined corner of a building or a communal fire, you can see them living lightly and, really just in their element as former soldiers.
And the assembly of these folks, did they serve together? Or are they from various factions and now they've been stitched together?
Yeah, they are from various legions. So they do have the broader legion as their commonality, right? But in terms of knowing each other, they are scattered. They are folks who did not adjust to life after their service. And so some of them are here by happenstance. Some of them are here because they were exiled. Others willingly came just to be part of something and to have direction in their life.
Sure. A skilled band of warriors would definitely be needed by many different folks here, and you've served with them, and you've had other members of your faction as well fight alongside them. And Elarius needed to deliver an important piece of information to Somnolentus. You can imagine that Elarius running into the Lost Citadel not that far away from Arventa. What could have been this piece of information that brought Elarius to the last moments of Somnolentus's living moments, his dying breath within the Lost Citadel that you've then passed out of and away from for a little bit, but we're in Arventa. I want you to think about what that could have been, because if you could imagine, within Arventa there was that statue that was requested to be fashioned into a palm in honor of Somnolentus. So wherever the Vulpines find themselves, a little cutout, dugout, is being erected for the completion of this palm statue that is currently underway. And various craftsfolk within Arventa, scoping out the area, like, digging out some of the foundation and working on repositioning like a pillar, a pedestal for it. But the statue has not been ready yet. And various folks, the craftsfolk, very simpletons, they have like, torn pants and, ragged sort of shirts, and they're doing their best to eke out a life, but they're taking time away to establish this in honor of one of your fallen members. And just this simple person who's working the fields, sees Elarius come by and is just like, "Hey, yo, weren't you in the Lost Citadel?"
I was. How do you know that?
Word's traveling about you folk. You're a brave bunch.
We certainly try to be. It is, some might say, our fate to fall in glorious combat. So that might be aspirational for some. I personally would like to wait a long time before I find out if that is truly our destiny.
Fate? Destiny? Brother, you got something you need to work on. You need to talk to Garunda.
Garunda? Tell me more about this Garunda.
Garuna herself is a strange one here in Arventa. She's always blathering on about something. You might catch her on a bad day and probably have a good moment, but if you catch her on a good day, you might have a bad moment.
Okay.
She's just one that's babbling about fate and destiny. She told me my lot in life is to dig these holes for Arventa. The more I dig, the more we reach, the stronger our outpost will be. I didn't want to believe it, but the more I have a shovel in my hand and the deeper I dig, the more connected I feel to these walls and these grounds. Since coming here, I haven't been able to sleep a solid night, but Garuna has helped me.
Well, it is certainly important to have a sense of belonging in community. You say this Garuna is a strange one. I find sometimes the strange people to be the best people.
He starts continuing on, digging and flattening out the ground, and gives you a solid nod.
Excellent. Do you know where I might find this Garuna?
Garuna, she hangs around with the chickens around this time.
With the chickens? Well, then I suppose I will pay the chickens a visit.
What's Elarius look like?
Elarius is a lanky elf, long dark hair, garbed in blues and purples, which is unusual given that most of the members of the Volpes prefer more subdued clothing. Sort of beneath the cloak, however, as one would come to expect from members, former members of the Legion, there is sort of that standard, banded style leather armor poking out.
Is Elarius older? And an elf.
An elf
can be
so,
right quite a long time.
Yeah. I mean, Elarius has a couple of centuries under his belt, but appearance-wise, towards the tail end of 30s, perhaps.
Okay. Equivalent.
Yeah. To a human.
Yeah, it could be like 300 years.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah. So just, you can imagine this middle-aged elf, but by comparison's sake, this person that you're talking to, he's in his late 50s, and he's practically over the hill, he's on his way down type of thing, and he's digging away, but you are young compared to him, despite having lived 3-4 times as long as him. How does that strike Elarius in this outpost that's older than anything you've ever seen? The contrast between your own long life and this blasted out ancient ruin and this older guy has literally 1 foot in the grave, metaphorically or physically.
It leads Elarius to contemplate the meaning of time and how time is just a collection of moments. And sometimes when you think about humans in particular, how they exist for just snapshots in time compared to his lifespan and compared to the broader time scale of the universe itself. For these ruins, perhaps to some elder being, might just be a snapshot as human life is to his elven life.
What does Elarius do now?
I mean, Elarius is very curious about this Garuna. So I suppose Elarius is gonna seek out a place where chickens might roam within Arventa to see if he can encounter this Garuna.
There's a small, like, coop pen nest area that's been put together by, rumor has it Perekios has always had his hands in certain things, but Garuna seems to have taken light to this area specifically. And on sort of one of the main thoroughways of Arventa that has become the main street of sorts, there is this area that has, it's surrounded by a giant, like, fountain. It could have been a fountain at one point, but it's completely dried out and emptied, but it has a natural barrier to it because it was a giant, cyclopean fountain, and they use it as a pen to corral the chickens because of the giant walls.
Okay.
So there's just like, scrabble and rock and hay and sticks and rubble that have just collected in because of the wind, and it's just like a natural sort of a field, if you will, but corralled by the natural stonework of this fountain. And you hear her before you even see her, and you hear you Loda. Just this croaky old woman, just somewhere within the collection of this giant fountain.
Interesting. Elarius will approach her and give a quick bow of acknowledgement.
This short woman, long, gray, spindly hair. She's like kind of scarred in different ways and just has like a permanent scowl on her face. Her fingers are all bony and she's just pointing at these chickens. This one with a broken wing in particular, and is just cussing her out in her little halfling tongue. Garuna.
Excuse me, miss. Are you Garuna?
Without turning her back. Ah, you must be Elarius. Only Elarius would call my name at this time of day.
Fascinating. How do you know that?
She turns around and she just has a pointy finger that she has yet to put down from a point, and she like points at Elarius now. I saw it, and I knew that you'd eventually find your way here. I thought it was going to be Somnolentus, but his appointment ran late.
Unfortunately, my companion now I can't say it. Somnolentus.
How quickly you forget.
Indeed, we are all just moments in time. Unfortunately, he will not be joining us here today.
Oh, I know that. I know that very much so. But I have to know, are you on time or are you going to be running late yourself?
I make it a point to be punctual.
You think so? You have all the time in the world.
Well, if the lost will it, yes.
Well, we don't know what their purpose is. In fact, they hide themselves from our eyes, and my eyes have seen many things. I have seen this place in my dreams, and finally the passageway has opened up where I can walk towards this land. And let me tell you, I have not walked alone in those visions. And I sense, just pointing up and down, you, all of you Vulpines, Argentus, all of you strike a nerve within me. A nerve within these blasted deserts. Don't you see it in the sand? Don't you see it in the sun? There's something here that's meant for you all.
Well, a lot of us are searching for something out there and here in Arventa.
Perhaps I just have to know, are you a loader? Or were you would like to be something greater? And she points to the chicken with the broken wing.
I suspect I should want to be something greater.
Just, throwing some feed down to the chickens, and they all take it except for the one with the broken wing.
Elarius is going to scoop up a handful of feed and extend his hand to the chicken who has not partaken.
And the chicken, it's mended. You can tell that its wing is broken, terribly so. And it looks up and just the feathers are plucked and shoddy, and the beak is cracked in various places. And it looks at you, and looks at Garuna, and looks at you again. And Garuna's, it has not looked at me like that in a long time. Go ahead. Feed it.
Elarius extends his hand and waits for the chicken to have a meal.
Chicken starts coming up and looks at Garuna again. And Garuna turns her back to it. And the chicken starts greedily eating the feed in your hand, like it's been starving for weeks. And you just hear Garuna just cackling. Seems you have found your mate.
Interesting. I dare say, is this creature to accompany me then out into the sands?
Oh, I wouldn't even have projected that myself. You have greater vision than I. And she turns around. Perhaps you're on your way, elf. You are but a young one, yet you are much older than a lot of us here. How do you carry that?
I have seen much. I have seen wars in different places, in different times. In one way or another, each individual one does end, at least for a period of time.
The wars back in homelands have been raging far more than you have been alive. Hundreds of years. Some of us have never recalled a time without war. Never mind the battles, never mind the sieges. Do you think that will follow us here? Or are we immune to such a history?
I think to carve out civilization in this place is to invite violence.
Perhaps they thought the same as you. And she's pointing around to the ruins that you find yourself in. And as Garuna turns around, the chicken stops feeding and takes a scuttle back.
The chicken seems to be afraid of Garuna.
At least reacting to her.
Okay.
Like a sheepdog and the herd have a very specific reaction to the presence of a controller.
Okay. Elarius will gently scoop up this chicken and cradle it in one arm.
Okay.
And just see how Garuna reacts.
This little one thought it was a brave chicken out of all of them. Tried to find its way out of this pen here. Scratching, clawing, and climbing its way higher and higher, thinking it could find freedom on the other side. Perhaps I should let it go, out into the Balsal deserts. Maybe then you could follow it and find your true destiny. Or maybe I can just tell you your destiny. Nevertheless, the chicken tumbled its way back in, as chickens do, realizing it is not a bird in the sky, but a captured dinner for the rest of us. take it as you will.
I suspect in this tale, we are all chickens. Nevertheless, and Elarius will put this chicken down, I would be most interested to know what you see for me out there amongst the sands.
I'm in the mood for information first, and then a game. I inquire upon you your thoughts, your feelings. There's a device, a powerful object that was once held here in the outpost. The Orus. Are you familiar with it?
I am.
Metaphorically, you have it in your presence of the party, of the group.
I have heard of this device.
And?
I do not trust it. We talk of time and the meaning of time. This device is a perversion of that. It is something that is unnatural. And while I understand the utility of such a powerful artifact, it also brings me great trepidation. And I hesitate for it to be used.
You do not wish to right the wrongs of your past, of your present, changing the course to the future as you see fits, needed? Perhaps you are a part of a group whose collection of wrongs could be righted. Maybe this, Orus, could lead to that.
Just because it is within our power to do so does not mean that there are not repercussions that we are perhaps not aware of.
Perhaps. And as you finish, you're saying your sentence, she immediately squats down to another one of the chickens that has been feeding so tenderly. And it's an older, down and out chicken, not like the one with the broken wing, but sure enough, Garuna examines it. Shall we play a game?
Elarius will sit down and indicate his consent here.
Well, in this game, it requires the use of certain pieces. Maybe we can make a wager of sorts. And she's like, feeling the wings of the bird. I shall make another. Shall I lose? For if I win, I will keep these. And she pulls out from her sleeve a small tube. And in this tube, she pours out some little bones. On these little bones, some dice. Shall we play a game?
I shall play your game.
If you win, you can keep these bones and take my information. I will find another one. She points down to the old elder chicken. This one is perhaps the next game that shall be played. But if you lose, I keep these bones. This elderly chicken keeps his life. And you can take that chicken with the broken wing and wonder to yourself if you do not desire your own set of bones. And I leave it to you. If you allow these dice to speak their truth, or perhaps use the thing you are fearful to use to alter that which you desire. But let me tell you, Should you win, you will have full information of my vision that your faction may deem worthy and may grant them serious purpose. Shall we play? She has like a crooked tooth and her hair seems to just blow in the sandy wind.
As I look upon you, I suspect that whether I play or not, these chickens are in peril. As such, I will play your game.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna play this game. Just look these over real quick.
All right.
Play some Wizards and Thieves.
Okay.
As she goes ahead and collects the dice that's held in front of you, and we will do our best to make a wager of sorts. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna try to make a wager. We're gonna play a quick and fast and furious game. Red, white, and blue. Seeing as how there's only two of you here, but this is a betting game. This is a game in which we're going to throw dice down, and folks will call wizards or thieves in order to try to collect the coins that are in the pool of dice. You can use these dice as well too.
Yeah, okay. Great.
As we play them together. So, yeah, just look that over again,
Yeah.
just to see. Go ahead, read us the...
Okay. Shall I just start with to start?
Yeah, so we'll just summarize as best we can. So we're gonna do
All right.
the red, white, and blue here, perfect for our weekend of celebration of red, white, and blue here. And you'll have a red one and a white one and a blue one, and we'll say that they're like red, white, and blue being gold, silver, and copper. Red, white, and blue. So from highest to lowest value.
Okay. So, to begin, the players agree to a number of coins each will bring to the game. Each player adds 6 coins to the pot. All players roll 3d6. The player with the highest result becomes the active player. Gameplay moves clockwise from that person. Rolls of wizards, 6s, and thieves, 1s, cancel each other out on a one-on-one basis when determining majorities. Ignore results of 1 and 6 when adding to or taking from the pot unless no other die type remains. The active player declares wizard or thief before rolling 3d6.
So let's start to see who goes first. There should be, how many d6s there?
Looks like there's 6.
Great, so we'll each get 3.
Great.
And we'll roll 3d6. Let me get the old dice cam here. Let's try to roll them right here.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-bow. Let's see, so I got 3, 2, and 1.
I got 6, 2, and 1. It looks like, or is that a 4? No, that's a 4, so
Yeah.
it's 6, 4, 1.
So I got, what is this? 5, 6, and you got more than that. So you are the active player.
Okay.
So you will use these to see if we can roll in those.
Excellent.
So we can frame it up better.
Shall I proceed to
Yeah.
read the gameplay? The active player declares wizard or thief before rolling 3d6. Declared thief rolled majority thieves. The active player takes coins from the pot equal to the lowest remaining die after cancellations/ignores. The active player goes again. Declared thief rolled majority wizards. The active player adds coins to the pot equal to the lowest remaining die after cancellations/ignores. Play passes to the next player. Declared wizard rolled majority wizard. Everyone but the active player adds coins to the pot equal to the lowest remaining die after cancellations and ignores. The active player goes again. And lastly, declared wizard rolled majority thieves. The active player adds coins to the pot equal to the lowest remaining die after cancellation/ignores. Play passes to the next player.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is try to declare, you want wizards, you want all the 6s. If you get it, then great. Everyone but the active players, is a game that can be played with multiple people, are adding to the pot. If you declared wizards but majority of thieves, then the active player, which is you, adds to the pot equals the lowest die. It's going to be a little bit different since we're not actually playing with multiple coins here. We're just playing with the value of 3, and the goal is to get all the coins before you lose. So it's probably going to be a quick and furious game. Since you're the active player, you can go ahead and call wizards or thieves when you roll, and then we'll determine the result after that. So we can imagine, I believe we're each going to put in a coin. And the goal is to get the coins out of the other people.
All right.
Make sense? Let's do our best.
Let's do our best.
Let's do our best. Yeah, okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and roll it in the pot here, and you can call wizards or thieves.
Okay. I'm going to call wizards.
Is there a reason for Elarius to call wizards, or are you just going with it?
I'm just going with it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just Elarius's intuition.
We gotta see it. Oh, wait. Oh, man. So, what do we got here? 5, 3, and 1?
5, 3, and 1.
Okay, so it's majority thieves. So
Yep.
you declared wizards, majority thieves. The active player adds coins equal to the lowest remaining die after cancellations.
All right, so there's no cancellations or ignores.
Yeah, so we're just gonna, instead of adding it the lowest value, we're just gonna add, so you have to add a coin now.
All right.
So now you're on the edge here because you have 1 coin left.
Got it.
Makes sense? All right,
Yep.
so go ahead and dump that out. All right. Luck is in my favor there, Elarius. And you know what?
So it would seem.
You try to align yourself with your arcane power, for you seek that, but I will be the time thief and call thieves. What do we got here?
So it looks like a 6, a 1, and a 3.
And the 1s and 6 cancels.
So it's just left with
Now, nothing.
nothing.
So play passes.
Okay. Well then, Karuna. I shall follow your lead and also declare thieves.
You see it my way.
4, 6, 2, so no thieves.
So you called thief, but a wizard. You called
It is
declared
majority
thief,
wizard.
majority wizard. The active player adds coins equal to the lowest, so you're adding all your coins. You should really stick to your values there, Elarius. If I get the whole pot, you have nothing left to add.
Seems my fate shifts as the sands of the desert.
I will call thieves as well. They've been good to me. Nothing but stealing time. 6, 6, and 1. And the 6 and 1 cancel. Called thief. Majority wizard. Active player adds coins. Looks like I have 1 coin left. It's gonna be a solid pot, depending upon who wins. All right.
Well,
If you roll 3 wizards, you'll take the whole pot. If you roll 3 thieves, split evenly.
Elarius is feeling arcane today. We're gonna go back to wizards. And it's nothing. 5, 2, 4.
Okay. So you take those back.
Yep.
I am nothing but a thief. Seems I'm nothing at all. You're up.
I continue my pursuit of arcane glory. We have a 6, a 4, and a 5. So 1.
Declared wizard, rolled majority wizard. Everyone but the active player adds coins to the pot.
The active player goes again.
Seems I'm all in. My, how the tables have turned. I thought you surely would have been walking away here empty-handed.
Well, if nothing else, We have made an interesting game. Wizards again. 2 6s and a 4. Majority wizards.
Majority wizards called wizards. I cannot add anything else.
Nor can I.
That everyone but the active player adds coins.
The active player goes again.
But I've lost if I can't add to the pot. You gain the whole thing. That was in your favor, Elarius. My. Am I red-faced? I'm the loader this time. I thought you were the loader. I'm the loader. Loader. Let me tell you. This does not bode well for me. I will have a bad week as I stew about this. How are you feeling, Elarius?
I am simply shocked that you did not see this coming.
Or did I?
You're an interesting one, Garuna. I hope to see more of you.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere. I seem to have found my new home. And as she looks out across the lands, you can see just like the desert just almost like reacts to her gaze as she's looking. The wind is just following her eyes. Like, and the Balsal Desert off in the distance out to the west, to the east, south and east of Arventa just hums with this presence that just like she's drawn to it, but she doesn't take a step towards it. Like her essence is carried out into the winds of the desert, but she knows that her place here in Arventa is very much needed. So you have won. I will tell you something that I've held very close to my heart for some time. I have dreamt about a castle to the south here, very much so. It has sunken in the sands, and I see it yearning and calling for its owners. Its lineage has been separated from it. A lineage of warriors, mighty and grand, who have served well, but maybe haven't been recognized for it. I think this is something of value to those who recognize it, but I cannot speak of it. I cannot even travel to it, but I know who I tell it to will appreciate it.
Indeed, this is most intriguing information, and I believe that my compatriots would find this quite interesting.
And let me tell you, since you won, what was it that I agreed to? You would take these bones?
I would take these bones, and might I ask a favor of you,
I'm
should
listening.
you see fit? It seems to me that our two feathered friends here need not suffer for our games. Might you consider letting them live out the rest of their days and instead playing games with others instead?
What if the end of their days is a warm meal on someone's table?
I see your point.
But I'm willing to entertain the thought. Take these things very personally to me. They are nothing more than the crops we grow, the water we drink, the fish we catch. They all give us sustenance. And maybe even more with the games we play with their bones. Oh my, a thief. Perhaps this has been stolen from me to its rightful owner, the wizard. And I'll share with you as the winner of this game. This castle is sunken deep, and its legs go very, very far down. But remember, these are the castle's legs. It is meant to stretch its legs. Maybe it is an old woman's dream seeing this castle move, but perhaps this castle, should it find its right owners, crawl along the sands, as dark as night, and be driven by those who have the keenest sight. For those that ride high on the towers above will learn the land around them is filled with love. Take that as you will, in this blasted land of death and destruction and violence. But perhaps you are a fan of that activity. She goes and starts tending to the chickens, like going about her way.
Thank you, Garuna. A castle crawl within a crawling castle seems right up my alley.
Do not go it alone. And it might need the right group of people.
I dare not. But I do think it would be interesting to explore and examine the path.
She's not, her back's to you, yeah, and she's like calling over her shoulder, but
preoccupied, yeah.
She's content.
Okay.
She's looking over this elderly chicken that she pointed out, perhaps planning to extract her next tube of bones for her new game. Or perhaps she'll acknowledge your desires and let it go free.
Elarius will weakly smile at the two chickens in question, sigh heavily, and then look off into the desert.
There to the south, the desert's call.
Elarius would like to do some exploring at this point.
All right, gonna go check out this map and what we've seen. Actually, I'm surprised the Oris never made it into play there for a second now that I think about it.
Hey, Elarius is skeptical of the Oris.
For sure. And it did not seem to have been needed in your efforts and your plight to best Garuna in this game of dice, a friendly game of dice in the chicken coop. And if we were to look at this map here that has been pieced together by a bunch of various rumors, traded around Arventa, and various factions have learned about different things. You can see Arventa up here in the top corner. And from the forecast of things, you will have quite a fair weather as far as temperatures. It's going to be very hot and hot in the evening, and the wind's relatively light and breezy. You can move 4 hexes per day. So depending on how far you wanted to travel, you would need the resources to do so. And we've also given you a henchman as well to accompany you on your quest should you want to go south.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Voran, who is a gray-skinned, gaunt creature with 4 ropey limbs.
I don't know if it's exactly that, but I can imagine him being very shadowy and thin and wiry and like cloaked and... What do we got here? Yeah, so you're gonna have to consume an extra ration.
Which brings me to my next point. Elarius is going to need to procure some resources for this journey before setting out into the desert. So Elarius, with the remaining proceeds from selling the pearls after the last adventure, would like to, let's see here. I mean, we need rations and then a water skin and water, I assume, as well.
Yeah, everything's twice the cost, the value of everything.
Yeah. So let's see here. Sorry, gang.
Yeah, no, this colony continues to change and flow, especially as information is discovered. The map has been quite slowly uncovered, being scouted out by various parties and groups, mainly the Circle, who's not sitting with us tonight. What else? I think it might be looking up stuff.
Yeah, looking up the equipment list outside of weapons and armor.
Oh yeah, there's also one of these. Forgot where that quick play guy.
Okay, gear 34.
So you're gonna have to try to faction or build in resources for what's his name? Varos?
Voran.
Voron as well. Voron as well.
Yep. So, standard price, 3 rations or 5 silver pieces, assuming that's doubled because of the Arventa markup. So it would be 1 gold for 3 rations. I'm going to spend 3 gold to end up with 9 rations.
Sure, that'll take up 3 slots.
Yep. Rations 3. Rations 3 and rations 3.
Where's your destination?
Yeah. That is a great question. So I think what Elarius would want to have a sense of is heading south, but in unknown territory. So mechanically on the map, I am assuming that anything that is blank has not been explored.
Right.
Okay. So I think Elarius would sort of circle around the Jagged Maw to this hex here.
Okay.
And I think the projected destination here would be a straight shot south from that unexplored hex.
Okay.
And probably, you said 4 hexes per day?
Yep.
So we'll probably see how we fare after day 1. Because I assume that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll see how we're doing once we reach this hex here.
Yeah, as you travel through the blasted Balsalt deserts, you are met with crags and shriveled trees and just, the harsh desert environment that surrounds this place is familiar from a desert, but like at the same time, an otherworldly environment. The sands are coarse, the air is dry and sulfurous, and off in the distance, that looming volcano just fills the sky with these infinity rings, smoke rings that twist into these infinity symbols in a weird sort of pattern. And they just like bring that, obviously it's days away. Days, and these are abstract sort of days. They could be the actual night and day, or I like to think of them more as like a broad stroke of time in traveling. But you travel through and you find more desert in those hexes. They're just raw deserts.
Okay.
You start coming upon the edges of the dunes, deep sandy pits or hills that your feet sink in up to your shins, up to your knees at points. Very loose sands.
Interesting. Okay.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check because we're going to try to navigate.
All right. Seven.
Yeah, so since you don't pass, you and Boron actually lose 2 days of travel. So this actually takes you 2 hexes worth of travel. So this is your day. That is the full encompassing notion of it. Yeah, the ones that aren't covered sort of like have a fast travel sort of thing, but this takes a full day of travel getting to this point.
Got it. All right, I will mark
it'll cost you like 2 more days to get through these hexes. Or 2 more hexes, so your next move will be 2 hexes instead of 4.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll make our camp for the night, and then we'll head out again in the morning. It's
cooler, so like the temperature drops on this first night, like absurdly so. It could make for I don't want to say safer travel. It's riskier. In fact, let's see if any counters pop up. Nope. Okay. But you don't need to consume an extra ration if you travel during the night. But obviously, you're sleeping or like you could rest as well.
Yeah, no, we'll stick to traveling during the day for now, and we'll consume the extra ration.
What are you guys thinking about on this travel?
Wandering out in the desert, Elarius is preoccupied with the notion of this moving castle, crawling castle. Garuna's words echo in his mind as it relates to the warriors who were once connected to this establishment, and how that resonates with him and the other members of the Volpes in their quest for their place in this new frontier.
What do you share with Warround? I'd imagine he's henchman style in all this. He's maybe not a formal veteran, because I imagine your specific characters are veterans of this faction.
Yeah.
Where these henchmen were, since we're just supplementing your party tonight, they have they're maybe men at arms that never got out of boot camp. They just made boot camp and never actually served, and were enlisted on this trip out to this unknown land. So, I can imagine them being very harassed or hazed because they have never served formally. They've never been at the front lines. They've never done the deed.
Yeah. To that effect, Elarius keeps the chatter to light topics, nothing heavy. He's a little suspicious of Varan. Just because of that fact. He doesn't get the formality or the bearing of one who has served under this grand structure from his companion. So he's not outwardly hostile towards Varan by any sort of stretch of the imagination, but he is a little wary and deliberately superficial in the conversation over the campfire.
Keeping it light.
Yeah,
and not actually sharing this information with...
No, not at all.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
He's keeping that close to the vest, yeah.
And your background's an orphan, not a scout, right? You called yourself a scout at one point, but it's not.
Yes, yeah. It's, scout, not as background, scout as job during the Legion.
Failed this navigation check, though.
Yeah, well,
interesting.
Desert's not his forte.
Interesting, okay. All right, well, now what's your destination?
Elarius would like to continue to head south.
Okay.
We'll go straight into we'll head into the dunes, understanding that is probably going to slow the progress a little bit.
Go ahead, navigate. Intelligence. Right. Let's see. Is this guy a scout?
12.
Okay, yeah. You barely make it, as the dunes do provide a little bit of a struggle. And as you make your way through the dunes, your guys are just getting exhausted, and there's that extra 2 days or 2 hexes added on. You start making your way through, and you crest a dune, and you come to what looks to be a sunken encampment in the rock. Clearly there's some structures here that are dug out, like the sand has been parted, revealing harsh rock in between. And there are these like caves, hovels, holes stuck within the ravine of this whole dugout, this whole encampment, I guess is the best way, as if it was deliberately sifted out and found, and now has been turned into a living encampment. But it's ancient, abandoned or discarded. It clearly does not seem in current use.
Okay.
But you guys are on the edge of this.
Interesting.
And there's like, you can see the dunes are covering all sorts of things, and you can see it kind of loops around. Like there's a big dune, and there's possibly like another cliff on the other side of it. If you were to get to it, you could have a full view further into the further hexes to the south.
Interesting. Okay. And that is in which hex?
This the one right before
the
this
one
square.
right before this.
Yeah, if you were to get to that cliff side, you would be able to see into the hex further to the south.
Okay. I would love to send my buddy Varan to do that.
Okay, sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The reason that Elarius makes this choice is that he knows Varan can be a little sneaky, can be a little quiet.
Sure,
Seems
yeah.
to move amongst the sand in a way that obscures to onlookers.
So this, is like smooth as silky oil, Varan. He's always got his hood up, even in the middle of the night, even the darkest, even the brightest day. He's just always got his hood up, and he's got this long nose, and he's just only his chin seems to stick out of his hood, and the crest of his whole cloak like shimmers with this midnight black. It's like something about it has the essence of just darkness within his cloak. You got it, boss. And he just kind of, like the wisp starts slinking away, and the sand doesn't move, the rocks don't tumble. He just finds the right places to put his footsteps in as he starts slinking down into this dugout, finding his way deeper into the cutout, the expanse, if you will. And some time passes, and you get the feeling like, okay, you get that, you're not alone. Like there's somebody here, there's something here. And you can see him down from over in the way, and he's like signaling you, and like your military signals. Seems like there's at least 2 people here, and they're looking, they're excavating this place. And they're not of this. They're like from Arventa. They're like people like us that have come here. Like this could be people that were once in the outpost.
Interesting.
And now they're here.
Okay. Elarius will proceed down. Bow by his side, arrow in finger, but bow not drawn. Right? So, ready at a moment's notice if things go south. However, not hostile. And we'll raise a hand and cry out to these people.
You don't see them, but yeah, he's letting you know they're like inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like scouted ahead.
All
He's
right.
got the information.
Got it.
He's like letting you know we could go in, or we could keep trekking and going up to the top of the crag or the cliff side to see further ahead.
Got it. Elarius will still proceed as described. However, he'll look to meet up with Varan and try to signal these supposed other people as they come into his view.
Sure, yeah. Pull that corner.
Pull this corner.
Take it tight.
Like tight?
Top. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I got a little treat for you.
All right. This is very exciting. I love maps. Yes.
Where's your mini?
Over there somewhere, I believe. Archer, blue and purple.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes.
That's right, usually you bring your own.
I do. Elarius was conceived on the spot, however.
Right, good point.
Remember all, you can in fact create a ShadowDark character in about 30 seconds if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna pick this one for Voron there.
Excellent.
I just picked one. And we could do it from your perspective, like coming in to this chamber. These are all the
there we go. Further forward, further back, where you want.
Yeah, I know, right about there.
Right about there.
And he's like,
he's over there.
Yeah, kind of pointing into these holes, these hovels that are carved out of this stonework, and there's just dunes like cresting up, and you guys are in this little thing. And you can imagine, like, if you were to get to the top of this point over here, you'd be able to see further south into the hex. So this is like, tall, very tall.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and these are gigantic holes that are carved into each of these rock faces. That some of them are shallow, some of them go deep in, completely black. And he's letting you know, there's like 2 figures in here. And as you start coming down, you have your bow knocked but down. And as you start getting closer, you can just hear like grumbling and like people are excavating, but like ruthlessly so.
Interesting. Okay. I think first course of action, Elarius would like to go up to the top here to get a better view of the situation with his keen elven eyesight.
Yeah.
And signal to Voron to do the same. However, we would like to be doing this sneakily, trying to stay out of sight.
Yeah, okay. Where do you want to go?
To wherever our best vantage point is into the next hex, but also keeping an eye on what's happening here if we possibly can.
All right, so go ahead. You can make we're going to do some dexterity checks here for stealth. He rolls his with advantage. If you fail, it's going to be DC 15. So if you roll lower than 15, you'll alert the folks here that somebody's here.
Got it.
And you're going to have to make a couple checks to get up there because this is tall. So we'll do it like in tiers.
Okay. We'll start with Voron here.
Okay. Yeah. Is he going up this opposite one, or do you want him up here as well too?
I would like him up on the same one as Elarius.
Okay. Yeah. Dex check. Advantage.
19.
That one. So all right. So he starts climbing up, and he's now up a tier, and not alert. No one is alerted to your presence.
All right. We'll do Elarius now.
Mm-hmm.
Deuces.
Nice 2. So Elarius starts climbing up and just, like a rock comes loose, and you hear, hey, who's there? And just like there's like sounds coming from multiple holes.
Got it.
So
Does he get up to the next tier?
He's on the next tier. We'll say he's on the next tier, but everyone is alerted to this presence, and you can hear some figures start coming out.
Okay.
What do you do?
I think at this point, since we have been detected, I think they're double moving up to the top.
Without discretion?
Without discretion, let's just double move up to the top. Let's see what we can see.
Okay, sure. So let's go ahead. We'll roll initiative. See who pops out first.
Okay.
I got a 9.
Bad one. Let's get them out of the way now.
Yeah. Brutal. Okay, so you can see these figures like pop out of this hole here, where Voron was scouting in, and you can see that they look armed and geared like they are Tomb Raiders, like they're excavators. They wear a bright blue tabard and a cloak, but the cloak's like rolled back. And you recognize that they have an insignia. You've heard about this from an old fair member of yours way back before your voyage to even this land. He mentioned things along the way. They are part of the Preservation Syndicate, the folks that found the map down in the Broken Bridge Tavern, and apparently have found their way here to the Blasted Wastes as well. Perhaps in the same trip boat as yours, or perhaps they found other ways, but now there's members here that are looting and pillaging these ruins, these what did I call them, encampments? It looked like these are temporary shelters that folks have dug out, and you can see that they have some broken pottery and, you know, some like torn up like tapestries and stuff. Like they just like ripped it out of whatever was in here, and they came out and now they're like, who's there? And they haven't quite noticed you guys up above here. Do you want to keep continuing without discretion up top?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep going. Let's go to the
That
top.
will draw attention to them. They don't seem like they notice you at this point. You've caused noise, but they didn't know where it was coming from. If you wanted to, you can get to the higher ground, but they'll definitely know where you guys are.
If they have not noticed us yet,
Not yet, but yeah, give them some time. They might do a thorough search of this place.
I mean, let's proceed to the top, but we're gonna do so
Stealthily. Sure, what are you guys thinking about now?
Right now, we are just concerned with avoiding the attention of these individuals. The tales Elarius has heard of the Preservation Society.
Syndication.
Indicate that they are ruthless in their pursuits. And so Elarius is feeling some hesitation about conflict with them at the moment.
Sure. So you guys do your best to stealthily head up. Go ahead. Gonna be that 15 again.
Varan first. That's a failure. And Elarius also fails. So, not doing so high
You
here.
guys have stumbled and bumbled your way to the top. You have made it to the top, but with much commotion, much chagrin. Who's there? Chagrin. And sure enough, you know, they can see you down from below. They look up and see you guys up above. What do we have here? And you can see that they're like, you know, elbowing each other. And they're doing their best to like search through their stuff, and they just only have spears.
Interesting. Okay.
Who goes there? This is our site. And you best get yourself out of here.
It is just two travelers looking to pass through.
Travelers? To where?
To the south. We hear there's an oasis there.
The oasis is to the east, I heard.
I heard there's another one.
Well, this is our lands. These are our goods. Give us what you've taken from this site.
We have taken nothing from the site.
Why do you guys run up there like two thieves caught red-handed?
We're trying to see how far the oasis is.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We're trying to keep this place under wraps, and we'd prefer it if people did not know about this. What do you see over there? And as you
What do we see?
As you crest over the edge there, you can see clearly off in the distance, you know, another quarter of a day's march, the tops of a castle submerged within the sands. And you can see that it could have been a large, you know, a tower, a spire, a pyre on top of a castle, but it's literally like you could hop over it like a fence because it's just the top portion of it.
Okay.
There might be other areas of the castle that you can't see from this distance, but from what you can tell, you have found the sunken castle in the deserts from
Excellent.
this vantage point. What do you see over there?
Nothing but sand.
Nothing but sand. It's of course, you idiot. There's deserts over here. Is there an oasis or not? We're gonna come up there and see. And you can see them start making their way.
Okay.
We need to see what you look like up close.
Well, that's a bit too much for Elarius. So, as they start to advance, Elarius is taking a shot.
Okay, you're gonna take a shot at this first one.
Yep. I mean, it's a nat 1, but 4 modified.
Would you like to re-roll that at all? You
I
have
would
the
love
Oris.
to re-roll
you have
that.
You have your luck token. Or the Oris.
I would like to. Elarius closes his eyes for a moment as he lines up the shot, and he thinks about his hope to relay this information to his companions back in Arventa, and his true desire to help them, and indeed himself, find meaning in this place.
Go ahead,
And that
cash it
sucks.
in. Yeah, boy,
Cash
re-roll
it
it.
in.
Cash it in. Is luck on your side tonight?
The answer is no.
A little bit. Was it a 5?
5 natural, so 8.
Your arrow flies wide into the sands, and you're wondering if you will be able to deliver this information to your companions at Arventa. The very thing you're hopeful for. And this member of the Preservation Syndicate looks down. I'm starting to think it's not just sand out there. And he throws his spear at you. Your AC's 10, huh? He's
That
gonna
is
have
correct.
+2 here. He needs an 8 or higher. Rolls 6. The spear splinters on the side. And he looks back to the other guy. Tell the others! And the other one starts running into the cave. The other cave
Aha.
that they came out of. They came out of the middle one, now they're going to the far one.
You got it.
He hasn't entered it, he's like running towards it.
Okay. Well, at this point, we're gonna... I can move and shoot, yes?
Correct, yep.
Yep, all right. So, first we're gonna take a shot at the guy who's running in.
Okay?
Try to stop him.
Elarius is.
Elarius
Yep.
is.
Okay.
I don't have any indication
Yeah,
that...
it's far.
Yeah.
Okay, the range is far.
Yeah.
Got a 5 again. Oris.
Yeah.
Can Oris hit.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. I don't like that thing, but we're gonna do it.
Hey, go for it.
God.
It has quite a few gems and
Yeah.
several gears churning and whirling.
Here we go.
At some point, Elarius, perhaps after Garuna mentioned it, took some time to study the Oris, holding it deep within his hands, thinking about this castle in the sands
The 20's on the other
his
side.
venture
there.
forward.
16 now. I mean, I guess 7 is what it landed on. So
You can roll it again.
let's do it. Put that down.
You saw this figure coming out of this dark cave in the ground, a monster coming out. It was sort of this premonition. And you standing on a ledge, knowing that you have the moment to stop this information transfer. And the Oris showed you a couple routes, a vision in which your arrow goes wide, and you refuse to accept it. So you see another vision of, what'd you get?
21.
21. So what was the roll?
It was an 18 plus 3.
Plus 3, and you see this reality in front of you that you're like, that's the one I want. Go ahead, roll for damage
Yeah.
as this thing
There we go.
flies.
So that's going to be 5 damage.
And it kills him square, hits him square in the back, and he falls down out in front of the cave, and his last dying breaths fall within the cave.
Excellent. So, that having been done, Elarius is going to move down. I don't know if I can make a hold here or not.
If you jump down, you can take damage unless you want to try this save.
I'll jump down and
It'll be like a D4 damage.
yeah. Let's
Yep.
do it.
Boom, 3 damage.
All right. But we're down here. Cool. Meanwhile, Varan's going to double move. Does that get Varan to the next tier?
You can try to make a dex save, or you could jump down both tiers, but you'll take damage both times, but you'll get down there. Or you could make a save and just make it down 1 tier. Save.
I think Varan would just go down 1 tier, probably.
Okay,
so.
go ahead, make a dex check. With advantage.
Yep.
Oh, Varan.
Yeah. 10.
Okay, so he's gonna fall.
Oh, hold on. Wait. Do I have a +2 to dex, though, so I guess 12.
12 going down? Fine, 12's fine. 15 up, 12 down. So he makes it. He makes it down a tier. Ha!
There you go. Okay.
And you can see that this guy, he's thrown his spear and sees his companion dead and starts trying to run into the cave in front of you. It's all these caves lining the holes.
All right.
He's like trying to yell within.
Yeah, we're taking a shot at that guy.
Okay.
Again,
Go for it.
Going down.
3. Elarius is I got him rocked right now.
Yeah, no.
You gonna take it? You accept it?
God, I'm gonna roll the Oris. I'm gonna do it. I need to not do it anymore.
This is the 3rd one tonight.
I understand.
Another gem. Ooh, lights up another wheel. In these moments of private solace to yourself, do you see these futures unfold? And you refuse to accept a miss.
16?
You total?
Oh, no. 12. No. 19.
You lands a hit. Roll for damage.
For damage. Yes, for damage. That's going to be 7.
7. And it just flies down, and as he's running in, right through his cloak and bandolier, penetrating, some potions and papers that just soak up these liquids just around that he was carrying from some ill-gotten means, maybe. And he just falls down in a slump right into the cave mouth. You have 2 Preservation Syndicate members dead at 2 open cave mouths.
Yeah, no, we're getting out of here. So Elarius will use his movement to, again, hop down. Is that a dex check or is that just flat damage?
You can make a dex check if you want to just move safely, yeah?
Yeah.
D12 on the way down.
17.
All right.
Well, 16, I guess, but still.
All right, so you jump your way down, and there at the mouth of the cave, you can see that there's like, I don't want to say a mural. It's like cave paintings almost, but like purposely made and with skill. And it looks to be, you recognize the top of the castle, and it shows the rest of the castle as well.
Interesting. That definitely seems like something to check out at some other time. I think Varan's gonna try to come down safely as well.
Okay.
That's 13.
Yep, great. So, 12 down.
Yep. And barring anything else...
So you have another action as well, too, after jumping down.
Well,
Elarius jumped down.
That was after she...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep, sorry.
Yeah. Assuming there's nothing else happening, the 2 of them are going to book it back in the direction of Arventa.
All right, yeah.
So, double move.
You guys, start hoofing it back away towards the Arventa the way you came, and on your way out, you hear we're out. Like they're calling their names, like Eldon. And you're just gonna hear voices like, "Are you okay?" And just like there's other figures coming out of these holes in the ground. But you leave before you even see the results of that.
We're just booking it.
Yeah. as you make your way back out towards the outpost, you're safely back into the Balsalt Deserts, doing your best to make distance between you and what you just saw behind you if we were to go back to the map, you guys want to head further back and head straight back?
I
guess just resource-wise, right?
Yeah, I think we're going to head back to Arventa at this point, just because, yeah, I mean, from a rations perspective and wanting to report this information back to the rest of the party, I think that's the wise move here.
Okay, so just make a navigation check. You haven't covered these lands, but we'll just see if you can make it back as efficiently as possible.
14.
Yep. 3, 4. Okay, so it'll be another ration, and another day and a half, so to speak.
Yep.
For each of you, I guess.
Yep. So that one's completely gone, and this one is down to 2.
So you've uncovered these encampments slightly north of the sunken castle that you found in the distance, have yet to explore the hex itself. Seems you've come across the Preservation Syndicate as well, doing something inside these encampments. Something forcefully, I don't know, rummaging, pillaging, exploring. Not quite sure. They clearly seem to not know about the castle at all. What else are you guys thinking about? What else can you add?
Yeah, I mean, I think immediate thought, roughly, before getting into our own heads here, roughly where was the castle? Is it like in this next hex here?
Yeah, in that square, yeah. Whoever mapped that out.
That is an excellent, serviceable castle for now.
That is nice.
Yes, excellent.
Three fire pillars on top.
2 things are going through Elarius' mind right now. 3 things. The first thought is the excitement and anticipation of relaying this information back to those in Arventa. The second is the exhilaration of coming down the cliffside and being engaged in that combat. Elarius is reminded of a time when he was scouting in the mountains back home and had to escape an ambush. And it is almost a wave of nostalgia coming over him as they journey back.
It's funny you mentioned that, because as you recall this memory of scouting through the mountains, what triggered that, you didn't realize it was seeing that castle. Like there was something that spoke to you about it, like the rocks of the mountains, the rocks of the castle, the dirt of the base camp of the mountains, the sands of the desert. Similar, but completely different, but they still invoked that feeling of nostalgia, like a deep nostalgia. And it's elusive to you why this was even triggered. And in this sort of way, Voron's like, boss, what is that? What was that? You mentioned an oasis, but my eyes saw a sight that perhaps could provide us with some sustenance and shade, but for different reasons than an oasis of water.
Elarius smiles and says, regardless of its form, sometimes we all need a little sanctuary. A little place to call our own, a little place to rest, recoup. I don't know what lies in that castle, but I do know this. I would rather explore its mysteries than let those people do it.
I did get a vibe from them, that's for sure. I take your orders, but I would have loved to sneak in those caves and give them what for. He like pulls out a thin garrote and mimes choking someone.
All in due time. I suspect we will be encountering these preservation syndicate goons again. But with that, I am glad that you are here on this journey with me.
I do my best to serve, boss. I just hope to live up to the rest of the Vulpines and show them what I could do on the front lines. I know I've heard many stories of you all doing your bests up front, and a little wet behind the ears, a little green in the gills, little young cub coming out of the den. So maybe you'll give me a chance to show my stuff, and maybe it'll be worth the time and the effort, and you'll induct me into the faction formally. But I know things are tough out here too, and just surviving another day is a gift.
Well, I would certainly appreciate keeping you in my employ, and I will share this piece of wisdom. Over the past few centuries of war, in the legions and outside of them, I've seen what the front lines look like. I prefer to be off to the side. Maybe your place is not up front, not in the back, but somewhere adjacent, like myself.
You lead on, boss. I'm willing to learn from the wise ones. What do you say we go back there? He's like biting, nipping at the bit.
Discretion is the better part of valor today. We will head back to Arventa. We will gather our strength. We will gather more like-minded individuals. And we'll pay these people back, all in due time.
We got them off kilter. We got 2 down. Maybe that's enough to shake them up. And for people, Preservation Syndicate, they didn't look like they were preserving anything too well down there.
Well, what I would like to preserve most of all in this moment is my life.
Fair enough. Lead on, boss. And the black sands slowly silt their way, covering your tracks behind you as the winds drift and the sun sets. And Arventa, on the way back, you notice you did like a double take. You're like, what? You almost overshot the outpost. The way it's like established, it's hidden. Like the rest of the desert could have lived 1,000 lifetimes and ignored this specific area of ruins and wall that were once buildings, from the fountains to the docks to everything that has been growing within Arventa could easily have been ignored by the rest of this desert. It's like a hidden alcove designed to live behind the mountains and the cliffs and the bluffs and the coastline. You could easily have written it off, and now approaching it from the outside in, do you see like, oh wow, this thing could easily be ignored? Was that the original design? Is that your ignorance of the land? Not sure, but you notice that like this is a very, very unique sort of positioning for this outpost, especially as like people in the military. You're like, wow, there's something about this that's truly unique, whether it was by design or happenstance. And getting to this, you notice though, riders off in the distance. Dots of horses, camels, gnolls, creatures. At least 4, if not 8, on the ridge, far in the distance, watching you guys as you guys are like making your way through the deserts. They would be, days away, but or like a day or 2 away. But like you can see their positioning is surveying the land.
Interesting. And is this from the direction we came
No,
in?
no,
or is this
to the
is
east,
off,
further to the east,
off
yeah,
near our
yeah.
event? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. Elarius takes note of this and will relay that information to his companions as well in a place of safety.
Yeah. Make your way back to our Venta. Is there anything you'd like to do? So we're wrapping up our adventure, it feels like. Is that sort of what I'm reading here? Or?
I think so. I think that this is the right time to,
Sure,
you know, live to fight another day for the first time.
Yeah. You probably are tasting the sweet sense of victory, or at least not defeat.
Small victories are still victories.
True, and you're dining on the feast of information, of knowledge, of discovery, and I would probably say that's well worth 2 experience points for
Thank you.
Elarius. And if you'd like, you can try to justify any more as well in the discovery of any secrets or clues, and which I'm more than justifying. If you make a plead a good case, you also have the ability to carouse if you want to as well, and spend some cash. I know you didn't really find much exploring, but you certainly found treasure in the boned dice that you got from Garuna. But I'd love to hear your case for things.
Yeah, absolutely. So given that the focus of Elarius's wanderings today have been to uncover more of the mysteries out in the desert, and we did find 2 locations in that pursuit. I certainly think that Elarius met his objectives in terms of identifying what is out there. And I think that the deep connection, the mysterious connection between Elarius and the sunken castle is something to be explored. So don't know if that's worth any XP or not, but
I'll give you an experience points for that, definitely.
all right. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because that seems to be a strong tie in development, and if you continue to pay attention and tease that out, it perhaps will be more rewarding for you as well.
Excellent. With that said, Elarius is enjoying the sustenance of knowledge, but he'd also like to perhaps enjoy the sustenance of a good meal and some stout brew.
Is that a carousing I smell?
I think that is a carousing you smell. It worked out well for him last time, and, Elarius gets gregarious under the influence of alcohol, so let's see. Let's see how the carousing goes here. I don't even know why I'm pulling this up because you've got it right there.
So how much gold are you putting towards it?
Well, it's going to have to be 30 because that is all I can afford at this moment.
Yeah, that's the minimum.
Yep.
Unless you want to
Understood.
sell some stuff.
He's already gotten rid of
A lot.
And I think 1 slot for the dice, I'm assuming, for Garuna's dice?
No, those are free to carry.
Okay. I'm going to just write Garuna's
Bone
dice. We're going to hold on to those, but we'll spend the 30 gold to do some bonusless carousing here.
All right, roll a d8. We'll see what Elarius is Varan with you as well.
Not carousing, but observing.
So he's not carousing. Is he the chaperone? The DD.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
like that one time
Observing,
I
but
may
not
or may not
carousing.
have been thrown out of that one place and
Yeah.
you came and found me. Yes, that's what he's
Probably.
doing. Yeah. 6.
6. Bonusless 6. The Thieves Guild bilked you for 5% of your total wealth.
Okay. Well, that's not much right now. So
I wonder what that means here in Arventa, because I know there's some thieves around.
I'm assuming that this is a minimum of 1 GP, right? Because
Yeah, you don't have much to your, well, you can tally up your whole wealth in general, considering your gear and everything.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
my gear doesn't get me far. Fair
enough.
Sparse.
and you gain 4 XP on top of the 3 so far.
Okay. That's great. Elarius is having a grand old time at whatever this establishment is.
I'd imagine the Onyx Ballroom is a place where you could have these festivities very well.
Excellent. Well, Elarius is making merry. I suppose some of the patrons of the Onyx Ballroom might remember him from the last carousing.
Word's getting around.
Exploits.
Big share, and you get. How do you get bilked?
Well, Elarius had a bit too much of that stout brew. And he thought he was encountering his old friend Briog from the last time. However, this was clearly an imposter. And after some of the effects of the alcohol wore off, he realized like that wasn't Briog.
Yeah, it was Broog. It's like a deformed, looks like Briog, but it's Broog. Yeah, thanks, bro. Just takes your stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I want the bone dice involved in this somehow.
Okay.
I feel like you're trying to use them, but they're not buying it, and they're like, no, we use our dice. And you're like, all right.
They're loaded.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, we're not gonna trust these bone dice. And Brolog uses his dice to win, con you out of your winnings, your red, white, and blue coins. There you go. Excellent. Well, so much for your treasures. And Elarius has done a number to search more of the map outside of Arventa and has uncovered some very vital information for himself and his faction, as well as perhaps encountering ongoing adversaries that may have been aboard like rats on a ship, brought over from the old world to the new world, which has an old world hidden within it. Perhaps that's an adventure for another day. Thanks for watching this chapter of our ongoing fable. Drop a like if you enjoyed the episode, and let us know in the comments which stories interest you most. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and to stay connected, there are links to our Discord and socials in the description. We want to invite you to the next episode of Tables and Fables, and we'll be sure to save you a seat.